How many times have you had this? Where you try and push something as far into the future as possible. One day becomes two. Two becomes three. And before you know it, 10 days down the line, deadline's almost here. And you feel like, damn, I'm gonna crack this. But I'm just too occupied with everything else to do that. If you've ever been a student, then you know some students tend to live dangerously close to the line. I never was that type of student because going back to university at a more mature age, we saw things differently, and it was trying to balance everything that you had on the go. Some of us, some of you, might be able to relate with that. Childcare, relationship, your job, all jobs depends on what you got going at the time. Family, and if you are trying to make sure that you stay healthy, then you've got to fit that in there somewhere. In all of this, something sometimes you almost look for a reason to let it slip or let it slide. I'll just leave it for another day. It's fine. I suppose the question we need to ask ourselves is, how important is it really? Because this, regardless of what we do or where we put it, if we haven't quite worked out its importance, its value to us, to the people around us, to our community, either now or in the future, then it's almost gonna always take the back seat. That course you've been telling yourself you want to take, why do you want to take it? The gym membership you've been telling yourself, I need to go to a gym. Why is it important? That assignment you know you should do, but there's always something, a party or two, that is always taking priority. Why is that important? It's important sometimes because if we don't do it, the repercussions can be dire. Sometimes we don't sit back and think about the repercussions. Have we decided that we need to work on ourself physically because we're beginning to notice certain things? As we age, we're not moving as quickly as we used to. There's certain parts of us that are beginning to creak like it never used to creak. There's certain pains, certain niggles. There's certain times where you get ill and you can't quite work out. It almost feels as though your immunes are not as tough as they used to be. And all of this begin to kind of like sit there and play games with you. And you're like, something needs to change. Is it my diet? Do I need to be more active? The reason we initially began those thoughts, in there lies the value of why we needed to make the change. The job, the course. Why? Have we got ourselves to a position where we are like, we need to swap things around slightly? Because we've almost hit a ceiling where we're at. We've hit a cap where we're at. And now the only way to change things is to move things. But it's not easy going back and studying when you're like older. Some people that are quite academic, they find this part of it absolutely easy and enjoyable. But for the ones that don't, the value behind why you need to do this becomes your driving force. If you don't do it now, what's the impact it would have on you in a year's time, in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time? It doesn't always mean that you need to finish it immediately. But the most important thing is that you begin the process of achieving that. There's times where you wake up in the morning and you think, there are better things I could do with this hour than I'm going to rest in bed. But right now, this duvet is so comfortable that I just don't want to get up. Behind the discomfort, I would say, lies the opportunities, but not until you're willing to make yourself uncomfortable are you gonna have a chance of accessing those opportunities. It's uncomfortable going for a walk, but the health benefits outweighs just sitting down. It's uncomfortable deciding, you know what, I'm going to go to the gym, but the health benefits of actually doing it 2, 3, 4 times a week outweighs not doing it at all. It's uncomfortable having to write that dissertation or take up a course, but the benefit and access that it gives you outweighs the limitations that you're currently faced with. It is uncomfortable to get up and read a book or two, but the knowledge you gain from doing that outweighs the benefit that you're currently getting from that slumber. That most of the time when you wake up, you almost kick yourself and go, what am I doing with myself? Was it even worth it? We kick ourselves and call ourselves names all the time, especially when something goes wrong and you could have seen that coming because you pictured a way out of it. But you allowed yourself to stay that little bit longer. And then what you were afraid of happens. And you blame yourself for allowing it to happen. While it is okay to reflect and take accountability, nothing changes until you're willing to. So the question again is, how valuable is it to you? If it is very valuable, is it worth more starting now or never? The most important period of making a change, I would say, and everybody else would say, is now, is today. Yesterday's gone. We can't change what's happened yesterday. We can change what's happening now and what's going to happen in the future by taking those little steps, making ourselves a little bit more uncomfortable to achieve the greater comfort that we desire. Where are you watching from? It'd be nice to have a conversation in the comment section below. Until next time, you make sure you look after yourself. Keep cracking it, guys. Stay safe. It has been Kings. Peace. Bye for now.